In this video, I'm going to teach you 30 of the most useful American slang words and phrases. These slang words and phrases will help you sound more natural when you speak in English. So let's jump right in. Here we go. Number 1, bail. This slang word means to leave, abandon, or quit something abruptly. That just means suddenly. And the usage. This can be used specifically when someone doesn't do something they had promised to do for or with you, and they basically cancel or quit at the last minute. Very key, at the last minute. So let's look at some examples using this slang word. Here we go. It was hard to believe that my coworker resigned when we only had one more week left on the project. Now, before we move on to the next sentence, I want to explain what the word resigned means. This just means to quit. It's another way of saying to quit or stop working somewhere, okay? All right. My boss was furious, and so were the rest of my coworkers. Now, the word furious just means very, very angry, okay? We say furious in English. He really left us in a bad situation. Now, there's one thing you need to remember when you're using the term bail or the slang word. Remember, it hasn't come up yet in our example because we're going to see it, how we can replace a word in this current example. We're going to see that in the next screen, okay? It is not used in all situations where someone quits. It is mainly used when a person quitting has a negative effect on the work other people are doing, okay? All right, so let's look at this now changed from what we originally had. Okay, originally we had resigned, and now we have, if we go to this side right here, bailed on us. So again, I explained what this word meant, and now we see that we can replace it with the slang bailed on us. All right. Let's look at the next example. Sally was scheduled to go with her friends on their extended vacation trip to Europe, but she canceled at the last minute. Okay. So extended means to be longer than normal. Okay. Longer than normal or longer than usual. So let's say, for example, your vacation is normally 1 week, but you decide that this year you want to take a 2-week vacation. That means your vacation is longer or extended, okay? All right, let's keep going. Everyone was shocked because they had been planning the trip for ages, okay? For ages. That just means for a very long time, okay? Again, for a very long time. We use this a lot in English, all right? Now they were all stressed out because they were going to have to find someone else to take her place, okay? Stressed out. This expression just means extremely or very stressed, okay? Extremely stressed, all right? So, in this actual example, we can see that she did what? She canceled at the last minute. So now we're going to see how we can change this to use the slang term bail. All right, so right here, again, we have canceled, and if we bring it over here, we'll see that we have bailed. So again, we just replaced the word cancel with bail. All right, great job. All right, now example number 3. My friend and I went to a concert last night, but in the middle of the first song, she got a text message from her boyfriend. When she looked up from her phone, I could tell that she was about to leave the concert to go see her boyfriend. Okay? All right. Looked up from. So let me use this. Let me use a picture to explain to you all how this will be. So let's say, for example, someone is right here, okay? All right, now, this woman, let's give her some hair right here. She's currently looking down, right? Maybe she has her phone in her hand and she's looking down. Then she transitions to actually looking up. Now remember, she looked at her friend. She looked up at her friend, okay? All right, so she went from looking down and now she's looking up. So she looked up from, all right? Okay, and again, what words do we see here that we can use instead of bail, or that we can use bail instead of? She was about to leave the concert. All right, so let's go to the next screen. So again, we have right here, leave, and we come over here and it is replaced by what? Bail on me, okay? So again, same meaning, leave and bail on me. That's the example we can use for this one, okay? Great job. All right, now let's move on to the next one. So now we have 29 left. Here we go. The next one is feeling blue. Again, feeling blue. Now, the meaning of this actual slang phrase is to feel depressed, sad, or down, okay? This can be used specifically when someone seems to be acting a little sad or not as joyful or happy as they usually are, okay? So again, we say feeling blue. Now, let's look at some examples, all right? Example number 1. Last week, my friend called to tell me that she would be moving to the other side of the country. Now, when we use this expression, we just mean to the opposite side, okay? Let's say this is America, and currently my friend is living on this side of America, the West Coast, and she has to move all the way to the other side, the East Coast of America. So if this happens, instead of saying she moved to the East Coast, I can say she moved to the other side, completely opposite side of America, okay? All right, let's keep going. The news took me by surprise, so I tried to sound happy for her. Took me by surprise just means very surprised, okay? You weren't expecting the news. It was sudden, okay? All right, but I was really depressed for the next few days. All right, so again, what do we see here that could replace feeling blue? Well, we know that feeling blue this phrase is used to express sadness or depression, but it is not used to express deep sadness or depression. Just remember that. It's not used to express deep sadness or depression. So let's see how we can replace this word with the feeling blue slang phrase. Okay, here we go. So we have feeling depressed right here. And when we come on this side, the only thing we have to do is replace it with feeling blue. I was really depressed. I was really feeling blue. Okay, great job. All right, now the next example. I have been a little sad lately, but I think it's just because of this gloomy weather we've been having. Gloomy just means rainy and dark. So rainy or dark or no sunlight. Okay, no sunlight. All right. It has been raining cats and dogs for the last couple of days. Cats and dogs. So raining cats and dogs, let me highlight this as well, just means raining a lot, okay? Raining a lot, okay? Really, okay? A lot of rain, all right? Okay, so again, we know that feeling blue means sad or depressed. So what word can we replace it with? We have sad right here. Let's go to the next screen. So instead of sad, we can come right over here and we can say, I've been feeling blue. Same meaning, just replacing it, okay? Very good job. All right. Next, we have, the doctor noticed that his patient seemed to be depressed, so he decided to switch up their conversation, okay? Switch up just means to change, okay? To change, all right? So let me show you visually. Let's say, for example, that there are two people right here. And let's say one of them maybe is the doctor, and the doctor is talking to his patient, okay? And the patient is listening. But he wants to change this conversation. So first, they were talking about maybe medicine, right? But now he wants to switch the conversation and change it to family, okay? So he wants to change it to a conversation about family. So you can say switch up, all right? Okay, let's keep going. He wanted to help his patient think about something that was more pleasant, okay? So pleasant just means happy or enjoyable, something that makes you feel good, okay? All right, so in this example, what word do we see? We see depressed. So let's move on and see how this changes when we try to use the slang terminology or the slang phrase, okay? Here we go. Right here, feeling blue. So his patient seemed to be depressed. Over here, his patient seemed to be feeling blue. Excellent job. All right, now let's move on to the next one, okay? Now, the next one is a buck. One more time, a buck. All right, now a buck. This means an American dollar. That's right, an American dollar, okay? This can be used whenever someone is speaking about money. It basically replaces the word dollar, okay? All right, now let's see some examples using this slang word, okay? All right, the little boy was in shock when he looked at the tag on the jeans. So in shock means total or complete surprise, not being able to speak, completely shocked, okay? When he looked at the tag on the jeans. So the tag just refers to that little piece of paper inside of clothing when you went to buy something, okay? Let's say this is like this. Inside, there's usually a little tag, and this tag has the information about who made the clothing. In English, we call that a tag, okay? All right, let's keep going. The tag said that the jeans were $50. That was $30 more than he wanted to pay, okay? Now, one thing we want to remember is it is not necessarily proper to use during professional meetings or in business situations. Remember that. It's not necessarily proper to use this slang term, okay? All right, so let's see how we can change it. Now, again, what do we see? We see dollars, and we also see dollars here. So, next screen. So, instead of using dollars here, we just changed it one time. We come right over here, and we changed it to bucks. Very good. Now, again, you can change it here as well if you'd like, okay? I only changed one just for the example, but wherever the word dollar is, you can replace it with buck or bucks, okay? All right, example 2. He offered me $10,000 to do the job, but I told him no. My father told me to always beware of get-rich-quick schemes, okay? Beware means to be careful, okay? To be careful. And get-rich-quick schemes. So these are plans that cannot be trusted, okay? That cannot be trusted. And usually they promise lots of money in a short time. So they promise lots of money in a very short amount of time. So you have to be careful with get-rich-quick schemes. All right. So again, we know that a buck refers to a dollar. So we see dollars right here. So let's go to the next screen. So we have this dollars right here, and we're going to go to the other side, and we see, boom, right there, we see bucks. So we can replace dollars with bucks. All right, great job. Now, example number 3. I went to the mall with my friends yesterday to do some shopping, but When I checked my wallet, or let's change this to when I looked in, okay? When I looked in my wallet, I only had $10. So, needless to say, I didn't buy anything at the mall, okay? So, this is a very good expression to know. Needless to say, it just means of course. So, if you don't have any money, of course, you won't be able to buy anything. So, in English, we say needless to say. So, needless to say, I didn't buy anything at the mall. I just did some window shopping. Window shopping just means to look, but not purchase, okay? Look, but not purchase, okay? We say window shopping, all right? Okay, so what word do we see in here? Let's look for dollars right here. Now let's go to the next screen. Okay, so we have dollars right here. Now let's see if we see it on the opposite side. Boom, right here, okay? So again, the same meaning. We have dollars and we have bucks right here. Very good. All right, now let's move on to the next slang phrase or slang word. All right, we have the slang word creep, okay? Here we go. This slang word means an unpleasantly weird, strange, or abnormal. Abnormal means not normal person, okay? It says this can be used when speaking about someone you do not like or who makes you feel very uncomfortable when they are around you, okay? All right, so let's look at some examples using this slang word. Here we go. All right. Michelle said that the guy she met at the party last night was a real jerk, okay? Jerk is also another word for a really rude person, okay? No manners, all right? He kept making comments about her outfit and her body. She was uncomfortable the whole night. Okay, so the actual word that we can try to replace it with is right here, jerk. But I want us to remember something. Be very careful using this word because it is an insult. It is mainly used to describe men who treat women in a weird way or act in a rude way. So be careful when you use this slang word. All right, so let's see how this changes, okay? So again, same example, but just one word is changed right here, okay? Right here we have Knight was a real jerk, and here we have Knight was a real creep, okay? You can use them interchangeably. All right, next example. As the woman walked by the men working outside, they started to whistle and scream at her. She hated when guys made cat calls, so she decided to say something. Cat calls, this is something we use in English. It just means usually when guys are outside and they're working, some guys, not all guys, they're outside and they're working or they see a beautiful woman, what they'll do is they'll try to talk to her. Now, that's not a problem. But if they make rude comments and they call the girl and they don't treat her like a lady, then that is actually called a cat call, okay? So it means to whistle or yell out for a woman, okay? Yell out at or for a woman, okay? And we usually don't like that, okay? We usually don't like when guys do that, all right? So we say cat call. Okay, so she turned around and yelled out, "You guys are rude." All right, so what word do we see here? The word that we see is rude. But now we're going to see how can we replace rude with creep. So let's go to the next screen. Here we go. So we only have rude right here, but when we bring it over here and try to replace it with creep, this is what happens. She yelled out creeps. So U has been taken away, guys, and R has been taken away, and we replaced it with just the word creeps, okay? All right, good job. Next example. Her ex-boyfriend was a real punk. Now, punk, again, is similar to jerk or rude guy or rude person, okay? After they broke up, she found out that he had been hitting on 2 other girls in their class, okay? hitting on, this just means flirting with, okay? Flirting with. 2 other girls in their class, but when she approached him about it, he just told her to get over it. All right, so approached him means to ask directly, okay? To ask directly. And get over it means to stop worrying about it, okay? Stop worrying about it, all right? Okay, all right, so in this example, what do we see? We see the word punk because it's similar to jerk, all right? So let's see how this is going to change. So we have punk right here, and then again, we're going to come over to the change up, and we see, boom, right there, we just replaced the word directly with the slang term creep. All right, great job. Now let's move on to the next slang word or slang phrase. The next phrase is actually couch potato. Again, couch potato, okay? This slang phrase refers to a lazy person who spends the majority of their time doing things that can be done while sitting on a couch, usually watching television, okay? This can be used when speaking about friends, yourself, or other people in general. All right, now we need to look at some examples using this slang phrase. So here we go. Mark is a real lazy guy and doesn't like to participate in any activity that makes him tired or sweaty, okay? Sweaty just means to have a lot of sweat on your body, okay? To have a lot of sweat on your body. So a lot of times athletes will experience this, okay? On your body, all right? His behavior really ticks his mother off, but she tries to be patient with him. All right, ticks his mother off. So ticking somebody off means to really annoy or anger someone, okay? To really annoy or anger something or someone, okay? So tick his mother off, it means it really annoys his mother or angers his mother. All right, now one thing to remember is even though it refers to a person being lazy, there is a bit of humor included within this slang phrase, okay? All right, now what we see here is lazy guy, right? We see lazy guy. And we're going to see how we can replace this with couch potato. So here we go. We have lazy guy right here. And then we're going to come over here and we see, boom, we replace it with couch potato. And it's the exact same sentence and the exact same meaning. All right, good job. All right, let's move on to the next example. Many doctors call people who live a sedentary lifestyle lazy because they usually lay around or just lay around watching TV all day. Now, sedentary just means not moving or not moving a lot, okay? Or not moving a lot, okay? Sedentary, all right? Now, this is a very dangerous habit according to the research of many doctors, okay? So again, we're trying to find what words can we replace with couch potato, okay? So people who live a sedentary lifestyle. So maybe this is what's going to be replaced when we go to the next screen. So here we go. We have sedentary lifestyle. Well, we still see that's right there, but we have right here lazy. So instead of lazy, they have couch potato, okay? So we're going to bring this over here, do a little squig right there, squiggle. All right, very good. Okay, let's move on to the next example. Example number 3. A lot of people become lazy during football season. On Sundays, they just sit in front of the television from morning until night watching football games all day. Now, all of these words are very simple, but again, what do we see? Become lazy. So let's look at the next screen and see if there is a connection. Well, if we bring it over here, we can see become couch potatoes. All right. So the same meaning. Okay, now let's move on to our next slang word or phrase. Now we have the word cram, okay, the slang word cram. This slang word means to study feverishly before a test. It means very hard and very quickly. It is typically done after neglecting to study consistently prior to the test, okay? This can be used specifically when someone is preparing for a big or important test. All right, so let's see some examples using this slang word. The students had to study quickly for the test because they forgot to look at the syllabus. Now, the syllabus is just what we call in English the paper or the term schedule your teacher normally gives you. So let's say, for example, it's for the fall semester for 2019, okay? And your teacher will give you the dates and then also tell you the assignments, okay? And then even maybe he or she will give you the test dates and other things. But this actual form or paper that the teacher gives to you is called a syllabus. So the term plan for that year, okay? All right, let's continue. They had all assumed that the final test was canceled, but they were wrong, okay? Assumed, it means to think something, okay? To think. So you're assuming to think based on a situation, okay? So you're guessing, or let's say to think or guess. Let's do guess based on a situation, all right? Now, remember, this slang usually applies to someone who has not prepared well. So it is not a compliment, all right? Okay, so let's move on to see how we're going to replace this, because again, we're talking about cramming. So maybe it's study quickly for the test. Let's see if that's what's going to be replaced. So here we have right here, the students had to study quickly for the test. And we go over here, the students had to cram for the test. So you see right here, what we did was instead of study quickly for, we said cram for. All right. Okay. Very good job. All right. Example number 2. I was on vacation last month and I missed 4 classes. So when I came back and found out that our exam was the next day, I had to study hard all night in order to prepare for the exam. Okay, very simple. It's a very easy example. Now, when we come over here, though, so we have right here had to study hard all night, right? So on this side, we say I had to cram all night. So again, study hard all night is replaced with cram all night. Okay, very good. All right, the next example. The young woman told her friend that she forgot about her test, so she had to do an all-nighter in order to quickly prepare for it. Do an all-nighter. This means to either study or work all night. Okay, to study or work all night, and usually with no sleep. Okay, with no sleep. Okay. Sometimes college or university students do this a lot when they have to study for an important exam. They have to cram for the exam, okay? All right. But her facial expression didn't look like she was confident in her test results, okay? So let's see how we can change this on the next screen, okay? Here we go. So what we see on the left side is quickly prepare for it. Then we're going to come on the right side, and what do we see? Let's bring it down a little bit right here. In order to cram for it. All right. So again, quickly prepare and cram replaces it. Okay. All right. Very good. So let's move on to the next example, right? Now we have crash. Once again, crash. All right. This slang word means to fall asleep suddenly after being extremely exhausted, okay? It is mainly used when talking about people who have worked hard or studied for a long period of time and feel exhausted. All right, so let's see some examples using this slang word. Here we go. My friend and I ran a marathon yesterday morning and it was great. But after we refueled with a big lunch, we both went home and immediately fell asleep for the rest of the day. Now, refueled. So, when you are exhausted, usually, let's say, for example, someone decides to go running. Well, they have a lot of sweat. They're very tired because they actually ran for so long and they have no more energy. So, their energy level is all the way at 0%. So what do they have to do? They usually go to eat some nourishing food, and this food actually gives them energy to keep going. So they go from 0 to 100% energy. They refueled, okay? All right, now before we continue, remember, this slang usually applies to someone who falls asleep suddenly and for a long time. It is also hard to wake them up. So think about it. If they were at 0%, they were extremely tired. Even though they refueled, they were still sleepy and exhausted, okay, as far as being tired, okay? All right, so we see went home and immediately fell asleep, all right? So let's see if that's going to be what changes. So we go over here, immediately fell asleep, and we see, remember suddenly, and we see and crashed for the rest of the day. So this is all replaced with one slang word. All right, very good. Now let's look at the next example. The medical student pulled an all-nighter for the first time at work and went to sleep as soon as he got home. He was extremely exhausted, okay? All right, so in English, when we say pull an all-nighter, this just means to do something all night, okay? To do something all night. So it can be work, it can be studying, okay? All night, all right? We just use this connection, pulled an all-nighter. So you guys can use that too. All right, so again, crash is what we're looking at. So went to sleep as soon as. Let's see if that's the part that will change. So next screen, went to sleep, and then we're going to bring it over here, and we see crashed. All right, so all of this was replaced with one word again, crashed, okay? All right, next example. My husband worked all day around the house fixing things. So when it was time for bed, he completely knocked out, okay? Knocked out just means to fall asleep, okay? To fall asleep quickly, all right? Fall asleep quickly. I'm kind of giving you guys the answer right here. He was literally knocked out in less than 1 minute. So what are we looking at? Since we said right here, knocked out, and we know that crash refers to falling asleep suddenly, let's see what happens on the next screen. So we say completely knocked out. We come over here, and we see completely crashed. Very good. Excellent job. Okay. All right. So let's move on to the next slang word or phrase. Now we have down to earth. Again, down to earth. All right. This slang phrase means someone who is very easy to be around and talk to. It also refers to someone who is not concerned with status or rank, rich or poor, they don't care, or rank. Instead, they treat all people the same. All right, the usage. It is mainly used when talking about people who are easygoing and personable. Everyone loves them, okay? All right, so let's look at some examples. Here we go. The first example is, all the students love the professor because he is so nice. He takes time to speak with them, Here you go. He takes time to speak with each and every student, and he genuinely seems to care, okay? Takes time means he gives time or sets aside time for students, okay? Or sets aside time, all right? Now, you need to remember that this slang phrase is used as a compliment in a positive way, all right? So again, we know that down to earth means something good. So it describes the person in a good way. So what do we see in this example? We see right here, nice. So let's see what happens on the next screen. He is so nice. And then we bring it over here and we see he is so down to earth. Again, same meaning, but now we're using slang. Easy to talk to, very comfortable. People like him. All right, next example. Even though he is a billionaire, you would never know it by talking to him. He really just seems like a regular guy. He is so kind. All right, this one is very simple as well. So again, we can move to this one quickly. It says, he is so kind. All right, so the next screen, instead of so kind, we can change this to, he is down to earth. All right, very good. Number 3, the president visited our school today, so the students were quite nervous to speak with him. But after he came in and talked to them, they realized that he is a really nice guy. Everyone was super comfortable around him. Super just means very or extremely, okay? Very or extremely. All right, so again, in this sentence, what do we see? In this example, what do we see? He is a really nice guy, all right? So let's see how we can change that up. We have really nice guy, and let's bring it over here, and we have a really down to earth guy. So really nice guy and down to earth guy. All right, very good, okay? Let's move on to the next one, okay? Drive up the wall. Drive up the wall. All right, so this slang phrase means to irritate or annoy. This can be used to describe annoyance for a person, thing, or situation, okay? So it's very useful, all right? So let's look at some examples using this slang phrase. This project is making me crazy, all right? I don't know how to solve this problem. I really just want to stop and move on to something else, okay? Move on to something else. So, move on, okay? Move on just means to stop and do another thing, okay? To stop and do another thing. So, you're moving from situation A and you're going to situation B. Why? Because you stopped doing this, all right? Okay, good job. Now again, drive up the wall means to irritate or to annoy, right? So let's look at this part really quickly. This slang phrase expresses extreme annoyance. So be careful when you use it. The other person may get offended. Just be careful when you use this actual slang phrase, okay? All right, so we have the project is making me crazy. So let's see what happens when we move on to the next screen. Making me crazy. What happens? We can change that to driving me up the wall. Okay, driving me up the wall. Very good. All right. Example number 2. The woman's children were annoying her. They were screaming and running around all day. She had no peace. Very simple, all easy words. But they were what? Annoying her. So on the next screen, we'll see how we can actually replace annoying her with, you got it, driving her up the wall. Same meaning as annoying her. Very good. All right, one more example using this slang phrase. Her incessant whining is irritating me. Now, incessant just means non-stop, okay? Non-stop, no breaks, all right? And whining means to cry and complain, okay? But usually it's kind of a whiny or a high-pitched voice, okay? To cry and complain, all right? It says, I don't think I can take it anymore. So what do we see in this example that we can replace? We say, irritating me. Let's see what happens in the next screen. On the next screen, we have irritating me. We're going to bring it over here, and we see driving me up the wall. We replaced it with driving me up the wall. Okay, very good. All right, let's move on to the next one. Here we go. For real. Again, for real. All right, this means, this slang word is a proclamation of honesty. It is used to reassure the listener that what the speaker is saying is actually true, okay? Now, this can be used to help the listener have more confidence in what the speaker is saying. So let's see exactly what the examples show us for this slang phrase. Here we go. No, I'm serious. The professor said that if we finish this project, we won't have to take the final exam, okay? Now again, just to explain this, final exam just refers to the last exam someone has to take, okay? The last exam. All right, now really quickly, remember, it is not something that is used in a professional or business environment. This slang is mainly used in an environment with friends, okay? So it's a very casual slang phrase, all right? So now let's see exactly. So we said for real means something of honesty and you want to reassure someone. So the thing that we see in this example is I'm serious. So let's go to the next screen and see how I'm serious changes to this slang phrase. Here we go. We see it right here. I'm for real. It means the exact same thing as I'm serious, all right? Okay, example number 2. Really? Are you telling me that you don't know anything about the dent in my car? Now, dent, okay, so this term just refers to the mark or the indentation that may happen. So let me explain it using a picture. Let's get a simple car right here. All right. So nothing is wrong with this car, but if this car gets into an accident, there's something that happens. If the car crashes right here, there's a mark or an imprint of the other car that it collided with, okay? So that impact can cause a dent in one of the cars, okay? So a mark or an impression on one of the cars, okay? All right, let's keep going. You were the last one to drive it and you still have the keys. All right, all of the other words and phrases are simple, but again, for real means honest or serious. So what word do you see or what words do you see in this example, okay? Are you telling me that you don't know anything about that dent in my car? Well, before that is said, the person says, really, but they use it with a question mark. So let's go to the next screen and see what happens. So here we have really, like honestly, are you serious? And it can be replaced with, you guessed it, right here, for real. So for real can also be used as a question or a statement. Just remember that, okay? All right, very good. Now, the next example. I really like him truly. Everything about him is great. And to top it off, he loves children. Okay, so to top it off, this expression is also very useful in English. Okay, so this is giving, let's do the N, a better benefit. Okay, a better benefit or bigger benefit or to add to something that's already good, okay? To add to something that is already good, okay? Something good. Now, the opposite is also true with this phrase. So it can be a positive phrase or it can be a negative phrase, okay? So again, instead of adding to something good, this one is going to be adding to something bad, okay? And instead of giving a better benefit, you can give a worse benefit, all right? So let me explain it. For example, let's say there's a classroom and there are lots of students and the students are listening to their professor. And the professor, who is at the front, tells the students that they have to write a report by the next day. So of course, all of the students are shocked because they have 24 hours to write an entire paper. That is already a bad situation. But to top it off, they must write a paper that is 10 pages long. That is even worse than just writing a report. So to top it off, it has to be 10 pages. So again, this expression can be negative or positive, all right? So let's keep going with this example. I think he will make a great husband one day, okay? All right, so all of those words are very simple. Now, again, for real means seriously or honestly. So what do we see? We see truly. So let's see what happens when we move on to the next screen, all right? So again, we have truly on this side. Let's see how it changes when we replace it with the slang. You got it, for real. So I really like him truly becomes I really like him for real, emphasizing that you are honest or serious, okay? All right, now let's move on to the next English slang term. Here we go. Going Dutch. All right, so the meaning of this actual slang is when each person, this is used when each person, usually in a dating scenario, pays for his or her own meal. Okay, so again, pays for his or her own meal. This can be used in both casual and business situations. So even though this is a slang phrase, it's used very often in both situations. All right, so let's look at an example. Okay, the first example: when my friend and I go out to eat, we usually pay separately. All right, so go out to eat. I think you guys know what that means, but again, whenever you eat outside or eat at a restaurant, okay, we say go out to eat, all right? Okay, now, one thing to remember is this is a common practice. This going Dutch is a common practice in America. So you don't necessarily have to say it when you are with friends because everyone kind of knows that's how you eat when you go out together, all right? Okay, so what word do we see that kind of shows that they are not paying for each other? Well, we see pay separately. All right, so let's go to the next screen and see how that changes. So on the left, we have pay separately, and then we're going to come over to this side and see how it changes. Go Dutch. All right, so you see, usually go Dutch, usually pay separately, the same meaning. All right, good job. Next, we have many people believe that on the first date, the man is supposed to treat the woman. All right, so in this situation right here, we have supposed to treat the woman. What does this word treat mean? Okay, in this situation, treat just means to pay for or care for. Okay, pay for or care for. It means to give all of the money, pay for the food and the drink and everything else. Okay, so if a guy suddenly suggests paying separately on the first date, it may not be a good sign. Okay, so Now, again, we know that going Dutch means paying separately. So what do we see? You got it. We see it right here, paying separately. So let's go to the next screen and see how this is going to change. So we have paying separately right here. We're going to bring it over here and see what happens. Going Dutch. All right. So if a guy suddenly suggests paying separately, and then it changes to, so if a guy suddenly suggests going Dutch. Now you can change it, all right? Great job. One more example. Paying separately is a common practice in America, but the opposite is true in South Korea. So again, common practice means that usually everyone does it, okay? Everyone does it. Or the majority of people do it, okay? It is very common, all right? Many times, the oldest will pay for the entire meal. That's something that actually happens in South Korea. It was very nice while I lived there. So I would pay sometimes, and then other friends would pay as well, okay? Now, what do we see here, again, that has the same meaning as going Dutch? We have it right here, paying separately. All right. So let's go to the next screen and see how this paying separately changes. So we go over here and we see that it changes to going Dutch, but everything after it is the same, is a common practice. Okay. All right. Great job. Now we're going to move on to our next English slang phrase or term. So the next slang phrase we have is the cold shoulder. Again, the cold shoulder. All right. Now, this slang phrase means to deliberately ignore someone. Now, deliberately just means on purpose, okay? Intentionally, all right? On purpose or intentionally. So again, the word is deliberately. Deliberately, all right? Usage. This can be used in professional and casual situations. So feel free to use this anytime, all right? Okay, so let's look at some examples using this slang phrase. Here we go. The young man wanted to be friends with his ex, but she kept ignoring him. Now, this is an easy way of saying ex-girlfriend or ex-boyfriend, okay? So, ex-girlfriend or boyfriend, or previous, okay? So this part right here just means previous, okay? You are no longer together, but you were together at one time. So we say ex, so you can shorten that. This is also an extra slang. This is a bonus. This is a bonus. Ex is a slang phrase or word as well. All right, let's keep going. So he eventually just gave up and moved on to another girl. All right. Gave up means to stop trying, okay? To stop trying to do something. All right. Very good. Now, remember, something to remember. It is used, we're talking about this right here, the cold shoulder. It is used when there seems to be a pattern of someone ignoring another person. In other words, if the person has ignored someone more than once or continually, we say the cold shoulder if it's done over and over again or repeatedly, okay? All right, now in this sentence or in this example, where do we see the person use ignore? Well, we see it right here. Kept ignoring him, and we'll even add kept right there. So let's go to the next screen and see how does this turn into the slang phrase above. Well, we see it right here. Kept giving him the cold shoulder. All right. So even though this is longer than this, the meaning is understood and it's slang. So if you use it, you will sound more like a native speaker. Okay. Great job. All right. Next example. His friends started ignoring him after they found out that he had betrayed his best friend. Okay. All right. So the word betrayed, let me explain it really quickly. So betrayed means to do something that breaks confidence or trust. Okay, to do something that breaks confidence or trust. Now, don't worry, I'm going to explain this very clearly using a picture, okay? Confidence or trust. So let's say, for example, you have two friends, all right? Now, these two friends are very close. So this friend tells the other friend a secret and says, don't tell anyone else. But this friend goes to someone else and reveals the secret. They actually tell the secret. Now, this is something that breaks confidence or trust. So we say betrayed. So again, this friend betrayed this friend. Okay? All right, let's keep going. He immediately regretted his decision, okay? He regretted, which means he felt bad. So, to feel bad about an action, okay? To feel bad about an action, okay? All right, so in this example, where do we see something that regards or relates to or refers to ignoring? We see it right here. Started ignoring him. So let's go to the next screen and let's see, how does this change into our slang phrase? We go right over here and we see it right there, giving him the cold shoulder. Again, everything before is the same. Everything before is the same. All right, great job. So let's move on to our next example. Her husband was ignoring her because he was still mad about the situation. But she decided that it was time for the silence between them to end. So she told him they needed to talk. Now, these words are fairly easy and very simple. So let's just look for the part that refers to ignoring. Right here it says her husband was ignoring her. So how is that going to change? In the next screen, again, we have ignoring her right here. And we're going to bring it over here and we see her husband was giving her the cold shoulder. Again, remember, this is something that is continual, okay? There's a pattern, not just one time, all right? So, very, very good. All right, let's move on to the next English slang phrase or word. Here we go. Give a ring. Once again, give a ring. Now, this slang phrase just means to give someone a call. That's right, to give someone a call either on a cell phone or on a house phone, okay? Now, this can be used when you want to call someone about something specific. So, an issue, a topic, or a situation. In other words, it is most commonly used when there is a specific purpose for a phone call. So let's look at some examples using this slang phrase. Here we go. My boss told me to call him after I finished my team meeting so that we could discuss our plans for the upcoming year, okay? Upcoming, all right? This means the one on its way, okay? The one in the future. The one in the future, all right? Okay, but right in front of you, all right? Now, before we keep going, I want you to remember something. It can be used in professional and casual situations. So feel free to use this as much as you want, all right? So, what part of this example refers to a call? We see my boss told me to call him. All right, so moving to the next screen, let's see now what happens. We see call him right here, and then we bring it over here, and what do we see? Give him a ring. Everything before is the same, and everything here is also the same. So again, instead of call him, we used give him a ring. All right, example number 2. My friend hasn't been around for a while, so I decided to give her a call to check up on her. Okay? Check up just means, so check up on just means to see if someone is okay. Okay? If someone is okay. So to call them and say, hey, how are you? hey, are you feeling better? All right. We say check up on someone. All right. But she didn't answer when I called. So again, what do we see right here? Give her a call to check up on her. Now again, remember we said give a ring is for a specific reason. Well, the specific reason was to check up on her. So going to the next screen, again we have give her a call, and then we bring it over here, and what do we see? Give her a ring. Now I'm showing you this because you can see now how to change regular English into slang very easily. All right, great job. Let's move on to number 3. Hey, I'm a little busy right now, but I will give you a call back in about 30 minutes so that we can talk about the program. Again, we have a specific purpose for the call. All right, so again, all of the words and expressions are very easy. So what do we see? I will give you a call back. So looking at our next screen, give you a call back becomes what? Let's bring it over here, change it out, and we see give you a ring back. All right. Now you see back is here, and we just added it and we put it on the end of the slang phrase. Very good. All right, let's move on to the next slang phrase or slang word. Now we have hyped. Now I use this a lot. Hyped, okay? All right. Hyped means this slang word is used to express a very excited state. So let's say, for example, people are at a basketball game, right? And the players are playing on the court, and everyone is excited to watch the basketball game as they watch the players play. And one player goes up and shoots the ball, and what happens? The ball goes right in the net, and the crowd is very happy, right? The crowd is excited as they watch the game. So, very excited. They are hyped, all right? Now, the usage. This can be used when speaking about sporting events. That's why I gave you all the example of the basketball event, okay? It can be used for big programs or any event that is out of the normal routine, okay? So, let's look at some examples using this word. Here we go. We all went to the basketball game yesterday. It was a close game, so we were super excited when our team won. All right, so close game just means that the score was close, okay? So it means that, let's say, Team A and Team B. Throughout the whole game, let's say Team A had 25 points. Team B had 24 points. So the only difference between their scores was 1 point. So if this team scored, then this team would score. If this team scored, this team would score. Back and forth. We call that a close game. All right. Now, super excited. We add super in front of a word to emphasize. Okay. So it's used for emphasis. All right. Now, remember, this slang, hyped, right here, is always used to express the positive feelings someone has, okay? All right, so let's go on and let's see exactly what this will look like if we change this, okay? So right here we have super excited. Now let's go over here and we'll change it to what? You got it. Super hyped. All right, now again, I just left super here to show you again that it's for emphasis, but we literally just changed one word, okay? Very good. Next we have the concert is scheduled to start in 2 hours, okay? So again, scheduled to start. It means supposed to, okay? Supposed to, all right? Or there's a plan for it to happen at that time, all right? I am so excited to see him sing. He is my favorite artist of all time. So again, what do we see here? So excited. Where is that? You got it. So excited. So if we go to the next screen, so excited turns to what? I am so You got it. Hyped. Again, this is a slang term that means excited. All right? Very good. Example number 3. The kids were super excited. Now you remember, super is just for emphasis. When they heard that they were going on an extended field trip to Florida. Now extended, again, I mentioned earlier, longer than normal, okay? Longer than normal or usual, okay? All right. Their shouts and screams of joy could be heard throughout the entire school. So again, entire, this just means whole, okay? This just means whole school. All right, so what do we see? They were super excited. So let's go to the next screen. Super excited turns to what? You got it. You already guessed it. Excellent job. Super hyped. All right, great job. So let's move on to the next slang word or slang phrase. Now we're going to look at hang out. Once again, hang out. All right, this slang phrase means to casually gather together or spend time with someone in a social manner, okay? This can be used to describe the time spent with friends or family. All right, so let's look at some examples using this slang phrase. Here we go. No one had any money yesterday, so we all just decided to spend time together at my place and watch movies, okay? My place just refers to my home or my apartment, okay? It's another way of actually saying that quickly. My home or my apartment, okay? It actually turned out to be a great night, okay? Turned out just means the result, okay? The result of whatever was being spoken of, okay? All right. We laughed and talked for hours. So the words are pretty simple in this example, but what do we see that refers to spending time? Right here, spend time together. So let's go to the next screen. How does this change into the actual slang word or slang phrase? Here we go. We decided to hang out at my place. All right. So spend time together literally just becomes hang out. Okay. Very good. Example number 2. My friends and I usually try to spend time together once a week because we enjoy spending time together. But sometimes we get too busy to get together because of work. Okay. Again, these are all very simple. Now, I do want you to remember something. It is not used to describe professional situations. So, hang out is not used in professional situations, all right? So, what do we see in this example that refers to spending time together? We see 2 examples, actually. We see spend time together here once a week, and then we see it also here, spending time together. So, let's go to the transition and see what happens. So, for the transition, we just have 1, spend time together. We're going to grab it, bring it over here, and we're going to change it to, we try to hang out, again, once a week. Everything after is the same, okay? All right, great job. Number 3, a lot of teenagers enjoy spending time with their friends at the mall. Even though they don't really spend any money, they all just enjoy being together, okay? So this is very simple. Everyone understands most of the words in this example. So what do we see that refers to spending time? Right here, spending time with their friends, okay? So let's look at the transition. So instead of spending time, we can transition to, you got it, hanging out with their friends. Again, everything after it is the same. Very good. Okay, so again, hang out. All right, let's move on to the next slang word or slang phrase. The next one is jack up. Once again, jack up. All right, so for this one, this slang phrase means an abrupt increase, typically in the price of something. Now, abrupt just means sudden, okay, not planned or sudden. Now, this can be used to express shock or surprise because of the sudden increase in price. So I want you to think about something. Let's say you're going to the store and you want to buy something you normally buy on a regular basis. And usually this thing that you buy is only $5. But the price got changed suddenly and now it's $15. When you see this, what's going to happen? You are going to actually be completely shocked. So in that situation, you would say jack up. The prices were increased suddenly. They were jacked up. Okay. All right. So let's look at some examples using this slang phrase. All right. Now, here we go. I heard on the news that McDonald's increased its prices last year in order to earn extra money. All right. Now, in order to, okay, this just means so that something could happen. Okay. So that something can happen. All right. Now, really quickly, though, I want you to remember something about this actual slang phrase. It is not something that is used in a professional or business environment. This slang is mainly used in an environment with friends, okay? So, what do we see in this example that refers to an increase in prices? We have it right here. Increased its prices. So, let's go to the next screen. How does this increased its prices change? Well, when we bring it over here, we see right there, jacked up its prices. This portion literally just replaced increased because the meaning is sudden or abrupt, all right? All right, example number 2. I don't agree with how the company increased the prices at the last minute, okay? At the last minute. This means almost at the end, okay? Almost at the end, all right? So right before something closes, okay? At the last minute. In my opinion, people are going to stop buying our products if we continue to do things like that. All right. So the words are very simple in this example. Now, what do you see that refers to increasing prices? Excellent job right here. Increased the prices. Now, again, at the last minute means abruptly. Why? Because you're almost at the end. So next screen, increased the prices. What happens? We see that it becomes jacked up the prices. Very good, okay? All right, next example. Since the supermarket around the corner increased the prices of their veggies right here, I decided to drive to the other supermarket. Veggies is just a short version or a short form of the word vegetables, okay? So, you can say veggies instead of vegetables, all right? All right, let's keep going. Even though it is 20 minutes away, I'm still happy that I was able to save some money, okay? All right, so what do we see in this example that refers to prices being increased? You got it. Excellent job. Increased the prices. So let's go to the next screen. Increase the prices becomes what? You got it. Jacked up the prices. So again, now you're able to use this slang phrase very easily. All right, so let's move on to the next slang phrase or word. Knock. One more time, knock. All right, so this slang word is a way of speaking negatively about someone or something. This can be used to badmouth something or someone you don't like, okay? So let me explain this real quick. Maybe some of you have never heard bad mouth. This is how you can understand bad mouth. Let's say you have someone, all right? We're going to draw the person's face really quickly. All right, so this person is saying something, right? And they're saying it out of their mouth. Now, when you speak, you can say good words or you can say bad words, right? So if what you're saying has a negative feeling or a negative approach or thoughts are inside of what you're saying regarding something else, you are bad mouthing. So for example, let's say you said, Veggies are not good. Okay, veggies are not good. All right, veggies are not good. Now, let's say you have a person that likes veggies. So you say, Matthew eats veggies. He is not good. Okay, he is not a good person. Now, again, I know this is just an example. No one would say this, but I'm trying to help you understand what bad mouth is. What bad mouthing is. It's literally just speaking negatively about someone or something. Okay. All right. So let's keep going and let's see some examples of how to use this slang word. Here we go. I have never tried jackfruit. I have heard mixed reviews about it, but my friend told me not to discredit it until I try it for myself. All right, mixed reviews, okay? So the term mixed means to have two different things within one thing, okay? So again, let's do mixed first, all right? So let's say you have a bowl, right? And this bowl has some fruit inside of it, all right? Now, but this fruit includes apples and oranges and let's say strawberries, okay? Very different types of fruits. So this is a bowl of mixed fruit, okay? So you understand the term mixed. Now, mixed reviews is the same concept. So reviews are people's opinions. So let's say one person says, yes, this is good. But another person says, no, this is not good. Okay, so you have one person saying it's good and one person saying it's bad, but they're all talking about the same thing. So these are mixed reviews, good and bad together. Okay, you understand? Very good. All right, so she's speaking about jackfruit. That means some people like jackfruit and some people don't like jackfruit. Mixed reviews. All right, so the next one was discredit, okay? So this means to take away the validity. Now you may have to look this one up, okay? Take away the validity or to speak negatively, okay? To speak negatively about something. All right. Sorry, guys, I'm writing fast. About something, okay? All right. So again, discredit. So out of the words that we looked at, which one refers to speaking negatively about something? You got it. Discredit it. All right. Now, before we go to the next screen, remember, knock, this slang right here, is not something that is used in a professional or business environment. This slang is mainly used in an environment where you're with your friends, okay? So let's go to the next screen. So again, we said this right here means to speak negatively about something. So we come over here and what do we see? Knock it. So all we did was replace discredit with knock, okay? Very good. All right, example number 2. There are some things that I don't agree with, but I still can't say anything bad about the new company for their innovative business methods. They are making lots of money, okay? Innovative means something that is ahead of other people, products, or things, okay? People, products, or things. So a new idea, something that hasn't been done before. So the best way you can think about it is think about Apple, okay? When Apple first came out with their computer, it had never been done before. That type of computer that Apple made, okay, Macintosh, had never been made before. So what happened? That was an innovative product, okay? That was an innovative product. So we call that innovative. So in this example, what do we see that talks about something negative? So it says, but I still can't say anything bad. So let's see in the next screen, how is this going to actually turn out? So we say anything bad. Let's take it over. And what does that become? Can't knock the new company. So all of this became this right here. All right, very good job. Let's go to number 3. The chef told the people to try the soup of the day, but my friend didn't look interested. So he looked at my friend and said, "Hey, don't say it's not good until you try it," okay? All right, so again, the words in this example are fairly simple. So let's see, what part of it speaks of something negative? Don't say it's not good until you try it. So next screen, here we go. Don't say it's not good. We bring it over here and it becomes don't knock it. So all of these words right here became knock it. Don't knock it until you try it. And I'll say this. This is actually a phrase that we use very often in English. Don't knock it until you try it. So you guys can know that one as well. Okay, let's move on to the next slang. Here we go. Lighten up. Lighten up. Now, if you're saying it quickly, we say lighten up. Lighten up, just for pronunciation practice. All right, so here we go. This slang phrase means to relax and not take things too seriously. This can be used to make an appeal to someone, a request, who is acting uptight. It means very serious, very strict, and has no leniency, okay? They're only one way, all right? So let's look at some examples using this slang. My father was a bit of a stickler for cleaning when we were growing up. Now, stickler means someone who sticks by or abides by certain rules, okay? By certain, let's do this, change this. This C looks a little crazy. Here we go. By certain rules, okay? They don't deviate. They don't change, all right? So it says their dad was a stickler, okay? But now that we are older, we can tell him to relax and take it easy. Take it easy. All right. So real quick, before we move on to find out what part of this refers to lighten up, I want you to remember something about this slang. Your tone of voice when using this slang is important. The softer you say it, the better. However, if you are irritated, you can say it a bit louder. Let me explain. So, first one I'm going to do is softer. Hey, lighten up. Now you can say that and it's soft and it's okay. But if I say, hey, lighten up, man, lighten up. I did both of those on purpose so you can see with the T sound and without the T sound. Okay, if you say it quickly, there's no T sound. So again, be careful when you're using this slang, all right? So what do we see in here that refers to relax and take it easy? You got it right here. Relax and also take it easy. So let's see on the next screen. We have right here, take it easy. And we're actually going to change that to lighten up. Very good. All right. Example number 2. The coach was screaming at his players throughout the entire basketball game. So one of the parents walked over to him and told him that he needed to be easier on the kids. Now again, lighten up means to relax and to not be as aggressive. So what do we see in this example? We see we needed to be easier on the kids. So let's see right here, easier on the kids. Bring it over here to lighten up on the kids. Let's add this part right here. So you see, it just changes exactly from be easier to lighten up. All right, next we have when the teacher realized that none of the students had studied for her class, she was livid. All right, livid means to be extremely angry, okay? Extremely angry. When someone is livid, usually they are screaming or they are really about to outburst or make an outburst, okay? But as she was about to yell at him or yell at them, she paused and decided to relax a bit. So what do we see here? We see that she decided to relax a bit. So how does this change? We have relax a bit right here, and we bring it over and we see lighten up a bit, okay? Very good. So you see how you can change from one side to the other if you want to actually use this slang. Very good. Okay, let's keep going. All right, our next slang is pass the buck. Once again, pass the buck. All right, this slang phrase means to deflect responsibility onto someone else. In general, the term deflect just means to point it to someone else and not yourself, okay? So again, deflect can mean to point or to put something, to point or put something on someone else, okay? On someone or something else. All right. Now, this can be used when someone does not want to do something, or when something bad happens and no one wants to take responsibility. All right, so let's look at some examples using this slang. Here we go. My boss tried to blame other people when his boss asked about the status of the project. Now, the term status just refers to the current state or situation. So one more time, the current state, let's take that away, the current state or situation, okay, or situation, all right? So this example is very simple, but I want us to look at one important fact regarding this slang. We'll see it right here. This phrase can be used when you disapprove of what they did, or you believe that they did not take responsibility for something they should have, okay? All right, so inside of this example, what word do we see that could mean that? You got it. Blame. All right, so going to the next screen, blame actually becomes pass the buck, okay? Everything before it is the same, and that is the same or that is true for the second example as well, okay? Or for the second part of the first example. All right, example number 2. When the two boys got called into the principal's office, the little boy tried to blame his friend and said that he did not know anything about what happened. All right, very simple example. But again, what do we see that actually means pass the buck? You got it. Try to blame his friend. So if we go to the next screen, what do we see? Blame his friend becomes what? You see it right here. Pass the buck, okay? All right, so everything here has been changed to pass the buck. Great job. All right, let's move on to number 3. Even if it is a difficult decision, one more time, decision, don't give the responsibility to someone else. True leadership is revealed in difficult situations. So the word true, you guys understand, but I want to show you what it means in this situation. It means real, okay? So real leadership is revealed or shown in difficult situations, okay? Revealed or shown. All right, so what do we see in this example that means pass the buck? You got it. Right here, we say don't give the responsibility to someone else. We'll add this part too. So moving on to the next screen, we see that don't give the responsibility to someone else becomes don't pass the buck. So this long phrase right here turns into this slang phrase right here. Excellent job. All right, let's move on to the next slang phrase. The next phrase is piece of cake. Once again, piece of cake. This is a very commonly used English slang phrase. All right, so the meaning. This slang phrase is used to describe something that is easy or effortless, something that you can do without any difficulties, okay? This can be used to describe an easy task or duty, all right? Okay, so let's look at some examples using this slang phrase. Here we go. I can do that for you. I love working with technology, so it's super easy for me. Now, I want us to look at this word right here, super. Now, you've probably heard that word before, but when it is combined with another word like this, the meaning is actually emphasized. So, whatever the word is after it is emphasized. So, we use it for emphasis, okay? Emphasis, all right? So, super easy means extremely easy. All right. Now, we know piece of cake is referring to something being easy. So this is the part that we are going to look at on our next screen. But one thing I want you to remember about this slang phrase is it is not something that is used often in a professional or business environment. But depending on the familiarity of those in the group, how well you guys know each other, it may be used in some meetings, okay? All right, so looking at this again on the next screen, super easy becomes what? You guessed it, piece of cake. Very good, okay? Example number 2. After driving for more than 20 years, it has become easy for me. I feel like I can even drive in my sleep. Now, drive in my sleep is actually another English expression that has the same meaning of piece of cake, okay? Same meaning as piece of cake. Very easy. Now, it's not literal. You're not going to drive when you're sleeping, but it's so easy that you don't even feel like you have to be conscious or awake to do it, all right? So, again, what are we going to replace? It has become easy for me. We're going to replace that with piece of cake. So, on the next screen, easy for me becomes, you guessed it right here, piece of cake for me. All right. And we have the A added in front of it. Okay. All right. Very good. And example number 3. The exam was super easy. Again, I explained before, when we have super in front, we're using it for emphasis. All of the questions I studied were on it, so I had no trouble at all. So, what are we going to replace this with? We have super easy, okay? This is what's going to be replaced with piece of cake. So, next screen, super easy becomes, you guessed it, a piece of cake. Excellent job, all right? So, I want you guys to try to use this one because it's very easy to use. Piece of cake is a piece of cake to use, all right? So, try to use it today. All right, let's move on to the next slang. We have pig out. Once again, pig out. Okay, this slang phrase is used to describe someone binge eating. Okay, now I do want to explain what binge eating means. So let's say, for example, someone goes on a diet. Okay, they have a 6-day diet. So Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, okay? For these 6 days, this person has agreed or decided that they are only going to eat fruits and vegetables, okay? Only healthy foods for 6 days. Now, 6 days can be a long time to do this kind of diet. Now, what happens is on that 7th day, they decide to eat pizza. They decide to eat ice cream. They decide to also go out and eat French fries, and they get lots of candy. Now, that is what we call binge eating. You go from eating all of this healthy food to suddenly eating all of this junk food. We call that binge eating, okay? All right, so pig out can be used to describe someone eating a lot after coming off of a diet, like we saw right here in this example, or someone eating without any restraints, without anything stopping them, okay? All right, so let's look at some examples using this actual slang. Here we go. Yesterday was a holiday, so we decided to eat for hours. We ate pizza, fries, ice cream, cake, candy, and a whole bunch of other stuff. Whole bunch. Now, this just means a lot. This is another way of saying a lot, okay? It was great, but our stomachs hurt now. Okay, so these words are very simple. So where do we see someone speaking of eating a lot of food? Okay, we decided to eat for hours. If you eat for hours, you're eating a lot of food. So one thing to remember about this actual slang is, even though the word pig is in this slang phrase, it is not meant to be an insult. Not meant to be an insult, okay? All right, so instead of eating for hours, we have changed it to be pig out, okay? So it's the same meaning of eating for hours, okay? All right, next example. We ate junk food during our entire vacation, okay? Entire means whole, okay? From start to finish or beginning to end. So when we got back home and checked ourselves on the scale, we were not shocked to see that we had both gained more than 5 pounds. All right, now I want to explain what checked ourselves means in this situation or this example. So I want you to imagine that there was a couple, and the couple went on vacation, like it says in this example, and when they left, the man was 210 pounds. He was a big guy. And the woman was 140 pounds, okay? So they went on vacation, and when they came back, they decided to get on the scale. Remember, the scale is what we use to actually check our weight. And they looked at the scale. So again, they stepped on the scale, and when they stepped on the scale, the number was larger, okay? So they wanted to check what this number was. They wanted to check themselves. And like they said, they had both gained 5 pounds. The woman had gained 5 pounds, okay? All right, now back to the slang, pig out. So what do we see here that can refer to eating a lot? Well, we ate junk food during our entire vacation. So let's look at the next screen. Here we ate junk food during our entire vacation. Let's stop there. We're going to bring it over here, and we see we pigged out during our entire vacation. So we ate junk food. When they ate a lot of junk food, we call that pigged out. Very good. All right, example number 3. The doctor told his patient that if he continued to eat junk food all the time, he would eventually get diabetes. Those words were enough to bring him back to reality, okay? Bring him back to reality. This expression just means to help him see the real situation, okay? See the real situation. We say bring him back to reality, okay? Very good. All right, so which part of this refers to pig out? You got it. Excellent job. Junk food all the time. So on the next screen, so instead of to eat junk food all the time, we're going to bring it over here, and we see to pig out all the time. So instead of eat junk food, we have pig out. Very good. All right, now we're going to move on to our next slang. Here we go. The next one is screw up. Once again, screw up. All right, this slang phrase is used when someone makes a mistake, okay? This can be used to describe a big mistake made that will possibly affect other people. All right, so let's look at some examples using this slang. Here we go. The employee really messed up the whole presentation when he forgot to bring the USB drive with the PowerPoint file on it. Needless to say, his boss fired him later. Now, needless to say, this is actually an expression that means of course or obviously, okay? We can also say obviously, okay? This is something we use. So you can also use that, needless to say. Because it was a big presentation and he made a mistake, so his boss would have been upset. All right, so now again, remember, screw up means to mess up. So in this example, where do we see that? You got it. The employee really messed up. Now, one thing to remember about this slang is It is not used for small mistakes. It's used for bigger mistakes, okay? All right, so on the next screen, instead of really messed up, what do we have? You got it. Really screwed up. Very good, okay? Next example. When the girl saw her friend's face, she knew she had really messed up this time. But there was nothing that could be done. All right, so very simple, all easy vocabulary words. But what do we see? She had really messed up. So on our next screen, really messed up becomes, you got it, really screwed up. Excellent job. So messed up becomes screwed up. Great job. All right, and example number 3. He made a decision that messed up his entire life, so much so that even his family left him. Now, so much so means on top of, okay? On top of. It's also used to emphasize how bad something was or is, okay? So much so that even something else happened, all right? Okay, so what do we see? Messed up his entire life. So on the next screen, we see that messed up his turns to screwed up his. So instead of messed up, we have screwed up. Very good. All right, let's move on to the next slang. This time we have plead the fifth. Again, plead the fifth. All right. This slang phrase references the Fifth Amendment of the U.S. Constitution, which allows a witness in court to refuse questions on the basis that they may risk self-incrimination, okay? This can be used when you don't want to answer a difficult or awkward question about your actions or comments. All right, so let's see an example of this slang phrase. Here we go. Plead the fifth. When you are called to testify, you can refuse to answer whenever you want. So testify means to give proof or give information about a situation, okay? About a situation. Now, this usually happens in a court of law, okay? All right. For example, if they ask you a difficult question that you don't want to answer, you can plead it right then. Now, this plead is referring to plead the fifth. But what part of this example shows us refusing or not wanting to answer something? You got it. Right here in the beginning, you can refuse to answer. Now, before we look at the next screen, one important thing that I want to bring to your attention is it is only used, talking about plead the fifth, when you really don't want to talk about something. So you must be careful when you use it because people may become suspicious of your reasonings for not wanting to answer, okay? All right, so let's go to the next screen. So instead of refuse to answer, what do we have? You got it, plead the fifth, okay? All right, very good. So let's go on to the next example. The high school student tried to avoid giving an answer when his parents asked him where he had been all night. But after he saw the anger in his mother's eyes, he decided to confess. Now, confess just means to tell the truth about what happened, okay? To tell the truth about an action you did or something that happened, okay? All right, so in this example, where do we see someone refusing or not wanting to give an answer? Right here. He tried to avoid giving an answer. So if we go to the next screen, instead of tried to avoid giving an answer, we can say right here, he tried to plead the fifth. Very good. All right. Now the third example. The man refused to answer when his wife asked him why he had gotten home so late. Again, all of the words and expressions are easy, but where do we see the refusal or not wanting to do something? Right here. He refused to answer. So on the next screen, we'll see that instead of refused to answer, we can change it to he pleaded the fifth. Okay, very good, very good. All right, let's move on to the next slang. Sweet, sweet. All right, so with this slang, it is an adjective that describes something that is good or nice, okay? This can be used to express your approval of something or your approval for something good, okay? All right, so let's see some examples using this slang. Here we go. The new Mercedes is amazing. I love the new design. This is a very simple example, but what do we see? Amazing right here. This is another way of saying good, right? Now, before we move on to the next screen, one thing that you need to remember about this slang is it is not something that is used often in professional or business environments. However, depending on the familiarity, how close or how familiar you are with people in the group, it may be used in some meetings, okay? All right, so let's go to the next screen. Instead of amazing, we have, you got it, sweet. Very simple to change this one, okay? All right, number 2. This new MacBook Pro is good. I am able to get all of my work done much faster now, okay? In this situation, much is actually being used to emphasize that it was a lot faster, okay? So used for emphasis, all right? Okay, so what do we see? We see good. This is what's going to be the word that will be replaced with our slang of sweet, all right? Very good. All right, and example number 3. Isn't our new office great? Our boss said they spent a boatload of money just to make sure everything was perfect. Now, this is a very good word for you all to know. This is also kind of a slang, but it's a word we use. So think about it like this. I want you to imagine a large boat, okay? This is a large boat, and normally boats are used to carry things. They have cargo and sometimes they have people on them, right? But boats go on the ocean and they're very large. So boatload means a large amount of something, okay? A large amount of something. All right, good. Okay, so what do we see in this example? We see the word great. That is very similar to sweet. So if we go to the next screen, instead of great, we have, you got it, sweet, okay? You can replace great with sweet. Very good. All right, let's move on to our next slang. Here we go. The next one is tight. Once again, tight. Okay, this slang word is an adjective that describes closeness between competitors, people competing against each other. This can be used to basically describe any type of close competition. All right, now the examples are going to really help you all understand this one. Here we go. The presidential race is pretty close. It is hard to tell who will win this year. Now, hard to tell means difficult to guess, okay? Difficult to guess or see or know. We say hard to tell, okay? Now, one thing to remember about this slang is that it can be used in professional and casual situations. It's used very commonly in both of those situations. So we see right here, pretty close. So if we go to the next screen, pretty close becomes pretty tight. You got it. Very good. Pretty tight. Okay. All right. Example number 2. The race between Michael and Sam is really close. I'm not sure if Michael will be able to outrun Sam this time. Outrun just means to run faster. Okay. Once again, to run faster. So in this example, what do we see? We see the race is really close. So this really close If we go on this side, it becomes really tight. The same meaning. Everything before and after is the same on both examples, okay? All right, number 3. Even though it is a close race, I think the Democratic candidate is going to win. All right, easy words, easy expressions, but we see a close race. So we come over here and a close race can be changed to a tight race. Very good. Very simple one, right? It's easy for you to use this one. Okay. All right. So let's move on to the next slang. Trash. Once again, trash. All right. So this slang word refers to destruction. Okay. It refers to destruction. This can be used to describe total or complete destruction. So let's look at some examples using this slang. Here we go. His mother was furious when she walked into the house and saw the mess. Furious just means extremely or very angry, okay? Extremely angry. That's what the word furious means, okay? He had totally messed up the house with his friends during a party, and his mom was beyond upset. So in this situation, the term beyond means to be a lot more, okay? A lot more. So she's a lot more upset than usual, all right? So the thing to remember about this slang is that it is when, in your opinion, something looks completely destroyed. So in this example, what do we see? She saw the mess, and also he had totally messed up the house. We can add that part right there. So if we go to the next screen, we're going to change this messed up the house to, you guessed it, he had trashed the house. So messed up becomes trashed. All right, very good. Example number 2. The students decided to destroy the classroom because they didn't like their teacher. So the principal had to what? Expel them, okay? Expel means to be permanently removed, okay? To be permanently removed, or to permanently remove someone, okay? They had to be permanently removed and not allowed back, okay? So in this example, where do we see trash? We see destroy. All right, so we go to the next screen. Destroy is replaced with trash, okay? In this one, it's a verb, okay, for this example, okay? Very good. All right, number 3. The police spent 3 weeks searching for the individuals who had destroyed the convenience store near my house. A convenience store is a store like 7-Eleven, a popular convenience store in America. You go to the store. It's a small store that has the bare necessities, okay? A small store with the bare necessities. So the main things that you may need, all right? So water, of course, some food, and maybe like deodorant or mouthwash, toothpaste. Those simple things can be found in a convenience store. All right, so what is the same, or what word or words have the same meaning of trash or as trash? We see right here, destroyed. So we go to the next screen, destroyed actually becomes, you guessed it, trashed. Everything before is the same, and everything after is also the same. Very good. All right, now let's move on to the next slang. Take a rain check. Once again, take a rain check. Now, it is commonly used for postponing or rescheduling a meeting between people to some later date that is more convenient. This can be used when you desire to attend a meeting or gathering, but your schedule inhibits or prevents or stops you from attending. So let's look at some examples using this. Here we go. The woman asked the man if she could reschedule their date because she had to take care of her sick mother. So this is a very simple example, but what do we see here that speaks of changing something? You guessed it. Very good. Reschedule their date. This has the same meaning of take a rain check. Now, you must remember, it is not something that is used often in professional and business environments. You wouldn't tell your boss, can I take a rain check? We don't do that in the business world, but we can use it in a casual situation. So if we go to the next screen, reschedule their date actually becomes take a rain check on their date. Okay, so let's look at the next example. He had to work late, so he asked the woman if he could reschedule their date. Very similar to the first example. Reschedule, same meaning as take a rain check. If we go to the next screen, reschedule their date becomes take a rain check on their date. Okay? Very good. All right, and number 3. I was planning to come over, but this storm is getting pretty bad, okay? Now, in this one, we're using pretty as a way to emphasize, okay? It's used for emphasis, to emphasize that it was really bad, okay? Can I reschedule? And we know this is actually something that has the same meaning as take a rain check. So, instead of can I reschedule, we can say, can I take a rain check? I want to be there, but I can't. Can we reschedule? Okay. All right. Very good. Okay. Now let's go to the next slang. Spill the beans. Once again, spill the beans. Now, this slang phrase is used to describe someone giving up or revealing secret information. Okay. This can be used to emphasize that someone revealed information they should not have told, okay? So let's say, for example, you have these individuals right here, okay? So this man told his friend a secret. Now, this secret, he told him not to tell anyone else, okay? He only told him. However, this man right here went and told someone else, and he revealed his friend's secret. So what happened? This is actually revealing information, okay? Spilling the beans, all right? Okay, very good. So let's look at some examples using this actual slang. All right. Here's the example. We planned a surprise birthday party for my friend, but Barbara ended up accidentally telling her. Okay, so now for this example, before we get into the words, because it's very simple, I want you guys to remember something about this slang right here. Remember that it is used when the information revealed may have a negative effect on some plans that were in place or on someone, okay? All right, so in this example, spill the beans. What do we see that shows some secret being revealed? You got it. Accidentally telling her. So on the next screen, accidentally telling her becomes, you guessed it, spilling the beans. All right, example number 2. Did she tell anyone about the affair Michael was having with that other woman? Now in English, affair refers to a sexual encounter with someone other than your spouse, okay? With someone that is not, that you are not with, okay? That you are not with, okay? For example, your spouse, okay? You're married to your husband or your wife, but you're with someone else. We call that an affair, okay? So again, that's something that is big news. That's not something good, but they said, did she tell anyone, okay? All right, so on the next screen, did she tell anyone becomes, did she spill the beans? So instead of tell anyone, we can say spill the beans, okay? All right, next. This is a very big secret, so don't tell anyone. This one is very easy. Don't tell anyone becomes, you guessed it, don't spill the beans, okay? So again, you can start to realize how easy it is to replace the words you know for actually English slang words or phrases, okay? Very good. All right, let's go to the next one. The next one is shoot the breeze. Once again, shoot the breeze. I use this all the time. It's a very common slang, but it's a phrase that I use very often with my friends, okay? This slang phrase is used to describe killing time or just idly chit-chatting or just doing other meaningless things. Basically relaxing, okay? This can be used to emphasize extreme relaxation, okay? All right, so let's look at some examples. No, I'm not busy at all. I'm just relaxing so I can talk if you want to. Now, all of the words in this example are very simple. So let's look at actually what we need to remember about this slang. It can be used in a positive or a negative way. Remember, we're talking about this right here. If there is work to be done, people should not shoot the breeze. However, if all the work is done, it can be used to encourage people to relax more. So again, in this example, we see I'm just relaxing. So this becomes, you guessed it, shooting the breeze. Okay, this one is very simple. Next one. It was a nice summer day, so all of the kids were just hanging out on the porch in front of my house. Now, porch, I want to explain to you what this is. So in America, the houses, for example, can look like this, okay? And they'll have windows on the front of the house, all right? And of course, you have grass in the front. But there is also an area on the front of the house like this. So this is actually in front or on top of the grass, okay? And people can walk in this way, but this space or this area is connected to the house, and people can actually put chairs in this area, and people can sit down and relax. So it's the front part of the house, okay? So what do we see in this example that means relaxing or spending time? Got it. Just hanging out. So on the next screen, just hanging out becomes, you guessed it, shooting the breeze. Okay, shooting the breeze out on the front porch. Very good. All right, and example 3. We don't have time to relax. The teacher said our reports are due by tomorrow morning, okay? So due just means a deadline, okay? They're due by tomorrow, or so they must be completed by that deadline, okay? Completed by a certain time, all right? We say due, must be finished, okay? So what do we see in this situation that refers to shoot the breeze? You got it. Don't have time to relax. So on our next screen, we see that relax turns to shoot the breeze. Very good. All right, let's move on to the final slang phrase in English, okay? Ride shotgun. Once again, ride shotgun. This slang phrase means to ride in the front passenger seat of a vehicle. It comes from an Old West folklore where the person in the passenger seat carried the shotgun for protection. All right, so this can be used to describe the passenger in the front seat of any type of vehicle. So let's look at some examples using this slang. I called shotgun, so you have to get in the back. You can ride in the front seat next time. Very simple example. Remember, this is a very widely used slang phrase. So we say, I called shotgun, so you can get in the back. You can ride in the front seat next time. So ride in the front seat becomes, you guessed it, Ride shotgun. All right, let's move on to the next example. Example number 2. Kids usually want to ride in the front seat when they travel somewhere with their parents. Very simple example. So again, ride in the front seat. So ride in the front seat, going to the next screen, this literally just becomes, you guessed it, ride shotgun. So you can start using this slang very quickly. All right, and example number 3. Mary got in the back seat next to Sally and Carla rode in the front seat. Very easy words. So again, we see right here, rode in the front seat. This becomes, you guessed it, right here, it becomes rode shotgun. So now you know how to use this slang phrase. Now, if you want to keep studying with me, you can join the Speak English with Tiffani Academy. This is the #1 online English academy for intermediate and advanced English learners. There are ebooks, there are courses, audio series with native English speakers, and so much more. So join so many other students right now. Go to speakenglishwithtiffanyacademy.com.